What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Bayview Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, joined today by just me. We don't have the sultry voices of Richie or Chris. They're both out for different awesome reasons. And so figured we'd still record one and just really take a moment to talk a little through this summer and what to expect here at Bayview if you're someone who attends and is part of our kind of Bayview family, and then maybe just some encouragement too along the way. So yeah, if you've wanted to hear more of my voice, this is the episode for you. And so, but no, it's good stuff. Richie is out this week actually with our student ministry is doing a thing called Missions Week, in which it's kind of like a local mission trip is the best way to describe it. They're taking some time and they're actually out camping and kind of roughing it more or less. And then during the day, they're working with an organization called Freedom Builders, who we are a massive supporter of here at Bayview, who really has been around for a decent amount of time now in the Traverse City and surrounding area. They kind of come in and really help people in need, or they specialize in almost all kind of home repair type projects. And so the students and Richie and some of his leaders, they've been able to each day go and do some really cool stuff. And so we're excited. We'll get a little bit of a update from Richie and how that went and how that's going in our next couple episodes. But we're excited that he's out there doing that. We'll talk about Pastor Chris here in a minute. A lot of you, I think, know about his sabbatical. We're really, really excited about that as well. But yeah, I figured it'd be beneficial to just give you kind of an update on stuff that's going on this summer. A big thing that we kind of promote from the stage is this idea of connection. And this summer at Bayview, we have a ton of opportunities to connect. And really, we view them as vital to what happens here at the church, but we also view it as vital to you. There's a reality of the need for community, the need for connection. We've talked about that at length here on the podcast. We've talked about it in messages, but we're designed to be with people. And so we have things like our men's night or our women on the patio, which are legitimately just gatherings for the men of our church, for the women of our church, and really just a chance to spend time together. And there's this unique opportunity I think people have to make relationships, to make connections. We do have things like small groups here at the church, and we do, have things like our Bible studies and our youth groups and things of those nature. But whenever there's an opportunity just to kind of hang out and spend time together and really build relationship, there's just so much value in that. And so we have a couple of those coming up, one each month. But that goes right into things like even our young adult ministry, which is a similar kind of space of just a chance for, at least in the summertime, for our young adults, that 18 to 28, 29, whatever you kind of want to do the cutoff at, as a chance to really, again, just connect in a time where the world seems to be isolating more and more. I think there is this call back to relationship and time together. And so again, there's bonfires and chances just to really a no pressure situation. I think for a lot of people, the idea of inviting someone maybe to a church service for the first time or to a Bible study, there can sometimes maybe be a stigma that, man, I don't know enough, or my Bible's not big enough, or you make up the excuse. And so we just know that in the summer, there's so much value in kind of taking some of that away, and it really just being an opportunity just to hang out, and let that be the introduction or the front door to a church. And so be on the lookout for those things. I know our student ministry, they've got some hangouts planned. They got summer camp coming up, which is going to be a blast for them. If you're someone who has a teenager in their life and you want to get them to camp, there's still a chance to sign up for that as well. You can go to our website. We'll make sure we have the link to our website, because all that will be, all these kind of event type style stuff will be there. But man, Camp 26 really is designed for students of Northern Michigan. They're going to go to Rose City. and there's a camp over there that they've got a lot of really cool things planned. I'm really, really excited for what they're going to be doing. And so that's the sixth graders through our 12th graders. And man, just a really special time, a week away. Lots of craziness, lots of crazy fun activities, but also I know the worship and the messages and the thing that's going to take place in those chapel times is going to be really special. And so, and then same with our children's. Our children's got stuff going on all summer, plus just our normal Sunday morning rhythms. Man, really just hope this summer is one of building relationships and connecting for you. But I know for us here at the church, we're going through this series called Shipwrecked, and this is a fun. I use the word fun. We're talking about heavy stuff, but it's fun in the sense of we're really pushing this idea of everyone's going to experience some form of a storm, and a storm for you and I might be. I look at the simple terms, the chaos in our lives. It could be the unforeseen thing that kind of flips your life upside down, whether it be financial ruin or maybe marriage issues or something with a child or loss of job or whatever it might be. There's this thing that happens, and there's different moments throughout the storm and that experience. And there's a reality for you and I that with God, we can survive any storm that we face. And we really believe that. And so this series is really revolving around the idea of the faith and building a stronger faith and trusting God in the midst of all the storm and all the chaos in our life. Because for a lot of us, you either walked through a storm, you're in the middle of one, maybe you know one is coming, or maybe you're someone who just knows that everyone's going to experience something like this or something of this nature. And so we look at this as a really another message series that's very much tools in the toolbox style message, really just a way to prepare you. And so I'm really excited for this summer to really work through that. We're going to spend a lot of time in Acts 27, which is Paul's shipwreck, where he's been imprisoned and he's going to meet Caesar in Rome. And there's just this whole experience where his ship and the ship he's on experiences a nor'easter, which is basically a hurricane style storm. And it's really this amazing story. And what I love is, the writer of Acts, they assume is Luke, who his notes are so detailed. Like if you're someone who's into maritime style stuff, Acts 27 is one of the most detailed, like just sailing and overall on the water style stories that has just some of the most amazing detail and accuracy. To where a lot of people even believe it's not proven. A lot of people believe Luke might have even been on the boat with them at some level, just because of how accurate, how detailed he is in the description and in the writing of the story. So I strongly encourage you, as we go through this summer, as we go through the series, or maybe you don't attend Bayview, but you're just looking for something to read in the Bible, man, take some time, read Acts 27. I encourage you to read Acts 25, 26, and 28, just that whole grasp of the story, the why is Paul even here in the first place, to what he experiences, to what happens afterwards. All just an amazing tale within Scripture. And we say this all the time here, but the Bible is real stories. It's real people. There's a lot of just good in it. And so, man, I encourage you, take some time, just read it all at once. It's a beautiful chapter, about 44 verses of just epic. It could be a movie. And so I'm excited just to keep working through that story this summer, talk about how to build our faith stronger, how to trust God more, and ultimately, believe and trust that He is in control of all things. And then lastly this morning, wherever you're listening to this podcast recording, man, we are excited that Pastor Chris this summer, he's on a sabbatical. And so we've talked about Sabbath. I know we've probably even hit on a little bit of Pastor Chris going on the sabbatical, and really it's a cool opportunity for us as a church, us as a staff, the board, to kind of send him and his wife Dory out and allow them just to rest, rejuvenate, reconnect with each other, reconnect with God, and kind of have a couple weeks away. I mean, it's going to be about 10 weeks away from the church as a whole. And we talked on Sunday in kind of our service and the ceremony with praying for them and encouraging them on their way out, that there's a couple reasons why this is valuable, but there's also a couple reasons for you and I why there's value in just having a Sabbath experience every week, honestly, and making that part of your daily rhythm. And that's stuff I know we have. I know we have episodes that we've talked about this at length, but what we did was we encourage the kind of the need and the reason for sabbatical, a couple different reasons. The first is we see it in Scripture. We know that in the Old Testament they would talk about this idea of a sabbatical year. Every 7 years, a sabbatical would happen, and what they would do is they'd essentially allow the land to go fallow, or they wouldn't sow any seed. They would literally just let the land be for an entire year. And the belief in this was that it would allow the grass and the ground to rejuvenate, to kind of recover, to kind of reset itself, and then they could step back into the growing and in the process of that. But by doing so, they were trusting God, right? They were trusting God and His provision, that they would have enough, that they would be prepared to experience a full year in which they weren't growing anything. And then that term and that idea of sabbatical has been taken, and that was added in this language used of Sabbath, this idea of rest. And, we here at Bayview, we're part of the Wesleyan denomination, and they believe that every 7 years, a pastor should take a sabbatical, a Sabbath-style rest that's more than just a weekly rhythm, but a total kind of removal of their ministry and just really allow them to do a couple different things. And so one of the things and reason we encourage it is this rest and recovery, the spiritual, the physical, the emotional toll that sometimes comes with ministry. We joke all the time, we only work on Sundays and blah, 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 but there's a lot that goes into it. We're in the people business. There's this reality of, as a pastor, there's not really a clock in and clock out time. And so for Pastor Chris to be able to step away and take some time and just kind of catch his breath, whether he was feeling burnt out or not, and he claims he wasn't, and we'd believe that and trust that. This is just a great why wait until it's needed? Why not do it when you're still feeling good? And so that's part of it. There's also this trusting that your value comes from being a son and daughter of God and not the work that you do, and really trusting God in that and reconnecting with Him in that. And there's this rejuvenation side of things. A sabbatical, a lot of times language used is like a spiritual retreat. And really it's a chance, and I've used this word a couple of times already, but there's this chance to reconnect with family, without extra pressure on the schedule, reconnect with God in a way that's not work related or not ministry driven, but to truly just reconnect and feel like you're just being filled up and filled up and filled up. And the rejuvenation side of future vision, the idea of where's the church going, what is the next steps for ministry as a whole. And so we're really excited that Pastor Chris is going to get to experience that, and that the church has viewed that as something necessary, something good. And so we really can't wait until he gets back to kind of hear what his experience was like. And I'm sure he's going to play a ton of golf, and all that is part of the rejuvenation process. We know there's going to be just some really, really good that comes from it. And I think the encouragement I want to leave you with this week is to maybe make a Sabbath, maybe make a rest part of your daily rhythm. And the summertime is honestly what better time, when schedules tend to open up, when work becomes a little more, maybe for some, a little more easygoing. I know it picks up for others. And to not be afraid, and this is where I think we've encouraged in the past, it doesn't need to be a full day even, but are you picking a time each week and making it part of your rhythm of the week to just be, honestly, just be still, to be, maybe remove distraction, and really rest and take in just the peace that comes with knowing God and being known by God, and allowing that to be part of what you do. For some, they can do a full day where they'll put the phone away and they'll disconnect from social media, and they'll just they'll sleep in extra, they'll take the nap, they'll go for the walk, they'll do the thing that rejuvenates them, they'll do an extra workout, whatever it might be. They'll go buy the chocolate croissant they've been desiring. Whatever you feel like is going to fill you up in the right way. And obviously there's different stages of life, and that's where the encouragement is man, maybe you can just get 2 hours, and maybe you just know Saturday morning you're going to wake up a little slower if you can, or maybe you're going to wake up earlier just to get that time that feels like, man, you can spend it with God, you can spend it with family, you can spend it in a restful period. And I would really encourage that if that's something that you've been wanting to do, or you've maybe heard a bunch about, I would strongly encourage you just to try it. and see what happens, see the potential growth that could come from it. I know in my life, my wife's life, our family's life, it's been highly beneficial. Our big way that we Sabbath and rest is try to disconnect, and that might be just putting the phone away for a little bit, and just spending some more intimate time together, more one-on-one time with the kids, or whatever it might be, or and really having that experience. And so, but yeah, we're excited for this summer. We're excited for what God has. We look forward to this podcast and just some of the guests that we're going to have on, some of the conversations that we'll have throughout these next couple weeks, next couple months. And so, yeah, if you have not done so, please like and subscribe wherever you are listening to this. It really helps us out. And make sure you share it even. We'd love just to continue to hopefully bless people throughout the week as they prepare and kind of work through their week heading into Sunday. But this is Andrew, and this has been the Bayview Podcast. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.